One of the leading voice architects, Megan Davis, has vowed to continue the campaign to implement the Uluru Statement from the Heart. Warren, this continual push to do that, especially in light of the rejection of the voice, is that not just going to lead to more division?
Oh, look, it's not. We've already got this division, and where is that division coming from? It is coming from the Yes campaigners. You know, I'm glad that there's such supporters of democracy. Well, in democracy, when the people make a decision, and a very clear decision, you know, over 60% to 39% of people voted against the voice. You know, so let's get on and start doing things that really work. You know, Peter Malinauskas is the bloke who I worked for in the past, the Premier of South Australia. He is a fool for continuing to push for the voice in that state, because 90% of Aboriginals have rejected that. They already had an election. 90% of Aboriginals in that state rejected the voice to the South Australian Parliament, and yet the arrogance and division that these people are calling, and the waste of money for people to sit around a table and have a talk fest is just insane. Victoria's in the same place. The first People's Assembly, they call it down there. Only 7% of Aboriginals voted for it. 93% did not vote. You know, when are they going to listen to the silence of Aboriginal people to say, stop wasting your money, stop setting up these elite organisations that do not do anything for Aboriginal people except sit around a table and have talk fest? We want practical outcomes. And Jacinta Price is right on this one. I got a paper and I'm doing a presentation next week at the Centre for Independent Studies, and we're going to be talking about Australia after the referendum. And I've got my 4 pillars that need to go forward. That's education. Every kid's got to be going to school and getting educated and completing their schooling. States and territories have been dragging their feet on this for decades. Dealing with economic participation. How do we get jobs and that? And one of the biggest things is Aboriginals own 55% of Australia's land mass, but they can't own a home on their own land. We've got to be able to change that legislation so they can have their own homes, they can invest in their own businesses on their own country, and move forward and get jobs that these people can have, and have economic prosperity and economic development on their lands. And the third thing, of course, is crime. We've got to stop pussyfooting about crime. This has been going on for decades. And I look at the Prime Minister, and I look at the Minister Burney, and I look at these people who sit around in that Parliament. Women and children and men are being raped and murdered and attacked every day of the week in these communities, and yet these folks just sit around the table and all they do is toss money around, don't meet their targets, and it's totally ridiculous. And the last one, of course, is governance. We've got to make people accountable for the money that they're spending, and we're spending billions of dollars on it. You know, I'm just totally disgusted in the Albanese government.
Warren, I'm just going to have to stop it there because we've got to go to a break. But everything you've said, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think there'll be a lot of people watching tonight who will absolutely agree with you, and we'll look forward to reading Senator Price's words in The Australian at the weekend. Warren Mundine, appreciate your time tonight.